Welcome to Cosmo Publishing. You just tuned yourself to the coolest place to learn all about self-publishing. We are a turnkey quality service provider, from interior formatting to custom covers and everything in between, including book marketing and advertising. It is the company that books a lot.
The power of visibility. Welcome to the Cosmo Publishing Podcast, the place where we explore every corner of self-publishing, from writing and formatting to marketing and distribution. I'm your host, Gürhan, co-founder of Cosmo Publishing and Cosmodio books. Together, we help authors take their books from concept to completion, guiding them through every step of publishing, from formatting and design to advertising and global visibility. Today, we're diving into one of the most important and misunderstood parts of modern publishing, Amazon ads, also known as AMS. These are the quiet powerhouses behind some of the most successful books you see online. Whether you're a first-time author or already have a few titles out, understanding Amazon ads can completely change how your books perform. Let's start with something simple: visibility. There are millions of books on Amazon, and every single one is competing for attention. The challenge isn't just writing a great book, it's making sure the right readers can actually find it. That's where Amazon ads come in. Amazon is more than a store. It's a search engine for books. When readers type in cozy mystery or fantasy adventure, Amazon's algorithm has to decide which books to show them first. Ads give you a way to influence that decision. They help your book appear in front of the exact people who are already searching for stories like yours. A lot of authors hear the word ads and immediately feel nervous. It sounds complicated, expensive, or reserved for big publishers. But the truth is, Amazon ads are one of the most accessible tools for independent authors today. You don't need a large budget or advanced marketing experience. You just need to understand how the system works, step by step in a plain language. Think of Amazon ads as a spotlight. Your book might be beautifully written, professionally formatted, and have a stunning cover, but if it's sitting in the dark corner of the store, readers won't see it. When you turn on that spotlight, even a small one, suddenly your book becomes visible. Readers notice it, click on it, and if your listing is strong, they buy it. What makes Amazon ads so powerful is that they meet readers at the perfect moment, when they're already looking for something to read. You're not interrupting them or trying to convince them to start reading. You're simply showing up in the right place at the right time. Here's a quick story. A self-help author I worked with had a great book, but couldn't get traction. She'd posted on social media, sent newsletters, even offered free downloads, but her Amazon sales stayed flat. When she finally set up a small ad campaign, just $5 a day, everything changed. Her book started appearing next to others in her niche. Within a week, her daily sales tripled. She didn't change her book. She just made it visible to the right readers. That's the secret behind Amazon ads. They're not magic, but they work because they align your book with intent. Readers who click on your ad are already interested in your topic or genre. That means every dollar you spend goes toward people who are more likely to enjoy and buy your book. Now, I want to make something clear before we continue. Advertising isn't a replacement for quality. A great ad can't fix a weak cover, a confusing blurb, or poor formatting. What it can do is amplify your strengths. If your book is ready, well presented, well written, and clear in its audience, ads become a bridge that connects you directly to readers who are waiting for exactly what you've created. The good news is that you don't need to be a tech expert to get started. Amazon ads may look intimidating at first, but they follow simple principles that anyone can learn. Once you understand those principles, you can start small, test ideas, and scale up as you see results. In today's episode, we're going to break everything down clearly. You'll learn what Amazon ads actually are, how they appear, how to set up your first campaign, and how to make smart decisions about targeting and budgets. We'll also look at real author examples, campaigns that succeeded, some that didn't, and what each one taught us. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear, realistic understanding of how to use Amazon ads confidently, even if you've never run one before. You'll see that advertising isn't just for marketers. It's a creative tool for authors who want to reach the readers they wrote their books for. So grab your notebook, take a deep breath, and get ready to demystify Amazon ads. In the next section, we'll start from the very beginning. What AMS really is, how it fits into the publishing ecosystem, and why it's one of the most valuable tools available to authors today. Section 1, Understanding Amazon Ads. Before we get into creating your first ad, it's important to understand what Amazon ads actually are and how they work. Because once you know what's happening behind the scenes, everything else starts to make sense. Amazon ads, also known as AMS or Amazon Marketing Services, are paid placements that help your book appear in places where readers are already browsing. You've seen them before, even if you didn't realize it. They appear at the top of search results, in the middle of product pages, or under the section that says customers also bought. These ads look almost identical to organic listings. The only difference is a small sponsored label above the title. That small difference makes a big impact. When a reader types in historical romance or a vegan cookbook, Amazon has to decide which books to show first. Normally, the algorithm picks from books with strong sales history, good reviews, and established traffic. But if you're a new author, you don't have that data yet. Ads give you a way to compete by temporarily borrowing visibility. You're paying for placement in front of readers who are already searching for books like yours. It helps to think of Amazon ads as renting a shelf at the front of the bookstore. The store is massive, and everyone wants that front spot because that's where readers naturally look first. Now, you can't buy the shelf forever, but you can rent it strategically for the days, weeks, or months when you want your book to stand out. Amazon ads come in 3 main types: sponsored products, sponsored brands, and lock screen or display ads. But as an author, the one you'll focus on first is sponsored products. This is the simplest and most effective format for beginners. It promotes one specific book, showing it in search results or alongside other related titles. It's direct, affordable, and easy to understand. Here's how it works. You choose a set of keywords or book targets that relate to your book's content or audience. Then you tell Amazon how much you're willing to pay if someone clicks on your ad. That's called a bid. If your bid is competitive, Amazon shows your book in those positions. You're only charged when someone actually clicks, not when they see the ad. That's what makes the system fair and manageable, even for small budgets. Let's imagine you wrote a mystery novel called The Whispering Lake. You set up an ad targeting keywords like cozy mystery, female detective, and small town thriller. Now, when someone searches those phrases, your book might appear near the top of the results. If they click and decide to buy, you've just gained a reader who may never have found you otherwise. That's the beauty of Amazon ads. They're not about convincing people to want your book. They're about placing your book where people already want something similar. It's alignment, not persuasion. One common question I hear is, are Amazon ads worth it? And the answer depends on how you define value. If you're expecting overnight profit, probably not. But if you see ads as a long-term visibility tool, the return can be incredible. They help you build momentum, gather data, and get your book in front of thousands of eyes you couldn't reach otherwise. Here's a story to show what I mean. An author named Rachel published a collection of short stories. Her sales were steady but small. She decided to test Amazon ads with a very low budget, $5 a day. She picked a few relevant keywords and let the campaign run for 2 weeks. At first, not much happened, but then she started seeing a pattern. A few clicks every day, a few new sales, and her book slowly climbing the charts. By the end of the month, her organic ranking had improved so much that even when she paused the ads, her book stayed visible. That's because ads don't just create sales, they create momentum that carries your listing forward. Amazon's system rewards activity. Every time someone clicks, reads, or buys your book, it sends a signal to the algorithm that your book is relevant. Over time, those signals stack up. That's how some books start small and then suddenly take off. The ads built enough traction for the algorithm to take over. It's also important to know that Amazon ads aren't just for new books. They're powerful for older titles too. If you have a backlist, ads can bring attention back to books that have slowed down. A small budget can revive interest in your catalog, especially if you target readers who are already buying similar books. Now, let's talk briefly about where ads appear, because placement affects results. Some ads show on search pages, which means they appear when readers actively type keywords. Others appear on product pages under Customers Also Bought, where readers are browsing similar titles. Search page ads are great for discoverability. They help readers find you. Product page ads are great for competition. They help you capture interest from people already looking at books like yours. Now, the most effective campaigns often use both. So, to sum this up, Amazon ads are a visibility engine. They help your book appear where it matters most, in front of people who are already ready to read. They give you control over discoverability, something authors never used to have in traditional publishing. When you understand that, everything about the process becomes less intimidating. Ads stop being a mystery and start feeling like what they truly are, a smart, flexible tool for growing your readership. In the next section, we'll walk step by step through how to set up your first campaign, from choosing the right ad type to understanding what each option means. By the end of that section, you'll know exactly what to click, what to enter, and how to create your first live Amazon ad confidently. Section 2. Setting up your first campaign. Now that you understand what Amazon ads are and how they work, it's time to take the next step, creating your first campaign. This is where you'll see that the process isn't nearly as complicated as it looks. Once you've done it once, it becomes second nature. When you log into your Amazon ads dashboard, you'll see several options, but don't let that overwhelm you. The one you'll use most often is called sponsored products. Think of this as your starting point. It's the simplest, most direct, and most effective type of ad for authors. Sponsored products promote one book at a time, helping readers discover it through search results or related product pages. When you click Create Campaign, Amazon will walk you through a few sections that may look technical, but we'll take them one at a time. The first step is naming your campaign. This might sound simple, but it's important because once you have multiple ads running, clear names will help you stay organized. Try using something descriptive like romance book keyword test or mystery launch campaign. Keeping your titles clear will save you confusion later when you're checking reports. Next, you'll set your daily budget. This is how much you're willing to spend per day. A good starting point is between $5 and $10. That's enough to gather data without overspending. Remember, you're only charged when someone clicks your ad, not when they see it. So if no one clicks, you don't pay. After that, you'll choose your targeting type. You'll see two main options, automatic and manual. Here's the difference. Automatic targeting means Amazon does most of the work for you. It chooses where to show your ad based on your book's metadata, title, keywords, and categories. It's great for beginners because it helps you learn which terms readers use to find books like yours. Manual targeting, on the other hand, means you choose the specific keywords or products you want to target. This gives you more control and usually leads to better long-term results, but it takes a bit more effort. If this is your first time running ads, start with an automatic campaign. Let Amazon gather data for a week or two, then use that data to guide your manual campaigns later. It's like letting the system show you where your readers are hiding before you start aiming directly. Once you've selected your targeting type, you'll see an option called bidding strategy. This tells Amazon how to manage your bids, the amount you're willing to pay per click. For your first campaign, keep it simple and use dynamic bids, down only. That means Amazon will lower your bid automatically when it doesn't need to spend your full amount, helping you save money while still staying competitive. Next comes targeting details. If you're using automatic targeting, Amazon divides it into 4 match types: close match, loose match, substitutes, and complements. You can leave all of these active for your first campaign. Each one helps your ad appear in different contexts, from search results to related product pages. If you're using manual targeting, this is where you'll enter your keywords. We'll go deeper into keyword selection in the next section. But for now, know that keywords are simply the words or phrases readers type when searching for a book. You can add as many as you want, but start with 30 to 50. That's enough variety to see patterns without spreading your budget too thin. Then you'll set your default bid. A good starting point for most categories is between 30 and 50 cents per click. This might sound small, but clicks add up over time. You can always adjust your bids later once you see what's working. After that, you'll choose your book. If you have multiple titles, select the one you want to promote. If it's your first ad, focus on a single book to keep things simple and to measure results accurately. The final step is clicking Launch Campaign. Congratulations, your first Amazon ad is now live. It might take a few hours for it to start showing, but soon you'll begin collecting data on impressions, clicks, and sales. Now here's something to remember. Setting up your campaign is just the beginning. The real learning comes from watching how it performs. Don't be discouraged if you don't see results right away. Ads take time to learn. Amazon's system gathers information during the first week, figuring out which readers are most likely to respond. Here's a story that illustrates that perfectly. A thriller author I worked with ran his first ad and checked it every hour. On the first day, nothing happened. On the second day, 1 click. By the end of the first week, he was ready to give up, but by week 2, his ad started generating consistent sales. The algorithm had finally learned who his audience was. 2 months later, that same ad became one of his most profitable campaigns. The secret is patience. Don't judge your ad too soon. Let it run, gather data, and make small adjustments over time. Also, avoid the temptation to launch too many campaigns at once. It's better to start small, learn what works, and expand from there. Think of your first campaign as a classroom. You're not trying to win. You're trying to understand. Once you learn how Amazon responds to your keywords, categories, and bids, you'll have the knowledge to scale with confidence. In the next section, we'll explore one of the most powerful parts of advertising, choosing the right keywords. This is where creativity meets data. you'll learn how to think like a reader, how to find the exact words people use when searching for books like yours, and how to make your ads smarter, not just louder. Section 3. Choosing the right keywords. Now that your first campaign is set up, it's time to talk about one of the most important parts of advertising: choosing the right keywords. This is where the heart of your ad lives. A good keyword can place your book directly in front of the right readers, while a weak one can make your ad disappear into the noise. Let's start by understanding what a keyword really is. On Amazon, a keyword is simply the word or phrase a reader types into the search bar when they're looking for something to read. It can be as simple as romance novel, or as specific as slow burn, enemies to lovers. Your job as an advertiser is to think like a reader and guess what words they might use when searching for a book like yours. When you add those keywords to your campaign, you're telling Amazon, if someone types this phrase, show them my book. That's the basic idea. But not all keywords behave the same way. Amazon gives you 3 ways to control how your ad matches those search terms: broad, phrase, and exact. Don't let those words intimidate you. They're easy to understand once you see them in action. Broad match means your ad will show for any search that includes your keyword in any order. And if your keyword is romantic comedy, Amazon might show your ad for funny romantic books or comedy love story. Broad match gives you the widest reach, which is helpful when you're just starting out and want to test what works. Phrase match means your ad will appear only when the full phrase appears in the search, but extra words can appear before or after it. If your keyword is space opera, your ad could appear for best space opera novels or new space opera books. It's more specific than broad match, but still flexible. Exact match is the most precise. Your ad shows only when the search exactly matches your keyword with no extra words. If your keyword is psychological thriller, your ad will only show for that exact phrase. Exact match usually has lower impressions but higher accuracy. Think of it like fishing. Broad match is casting a wide net. You catch a lot of fish, but not all of them are what you want. Phrase match narrows your catch to a specific area. Exact match is using a fishing line with one specific lure. Fewer bites, but the right kind. When you're starting out, it's smart to use a mix of all 3 match types. That way you gather data from broad matches while also testing which exact phrases perform best. Over time, you can refine your list based on what brings real clicks and sales. So how do you find good keywords? Start with the obvious, the genre, theme, or topic of your book, but don't stop there. Readers often search with emotion, not just labels. For example, instead of typing mystery novel, they might search books like Agatha Christie or cozy crime in a small town. These are powerful long-tail keywords, phrases that are longer and more specific but have less competition. A great place to find inspiration is Amazon's own search bar. Start typing a word related to your book, and you'll see the autofill suggestions that appear. Those are real searches from real readers. Each suggestion is a potential keyword. You can also look at similar books in your genre. Scroll down their product pages and check the section called Customers Also Bought. Pay attention to titles that appear again and again. You can use the names of those books or authors as product targeting keywords, meaning your ad will appear on their pages. If a reader likes those books, there's a good chance they'll be interested in yours. Here's a real example. An author named Julia wrote a historical romance set in Victorian London. Her first campaign didn't perform well, because her keywords were too general: romance, love story, Victorian book. Those phrases were too competitive, so she refined her approach. She started using specific emotional keywords like Victorian marriage of convenience, London high society romance, and books like Bridgerton. Suddenly, her ad began to perform much better. The clicks became cheaper, and her conversion rate doubled. The key is relevance. Every keyword you choose should describe your book accurately. If you target phrases that don't match your story, readers might click but won't buy, and that wastes your budget. The goal isn't to get as many clicks as possible. It's to get the right clicks. One of my favorite ways to test relevance is to ask this question: if someone searches this phrase and finds my book, will they feel like they got exactly what they were looking for? If the answer is yes, that's a good keyword. Remember, keywords are not permanent. You can change them anytime. Most authors regularly update their lists, removing poor performers and adding new ones. Think of your keywords as living data. They evolve as your book grows. It's also important to avoid keyword stuffing. Adding hundreds of random terms won't help your ad perform better. It actually confuses the algorithm and spreads your budget too thin. Start with 30 to 50 strong, relevant keywords. Let your ad run for a few weeks and see which ones perform best. Then focus your spending on those. Here's another quick story. A fantasy author named Devin used just 15 carefully chosen keywords, all based on specific elements from his book: Magic Academy, Dragon Prophecy, and Young Hero Quest. Instead of going wide, he went deep. His ad reached a smaller audience, but nearly every click turned into a sale. Quality always beats quantity. Over time, you'll develop an instinct for keywords. You'll notice patterns in your reports, see which ones drive sales, and learn how to speak the same language as your readers. That's when ads stop feeling like guesswork and start feeling like strategy. In the next section, we'll talk about something every author wonders: how much to spend. We'll go over budgets, bids, and how to manage your daily spending without stress. You'll see how even small budgets can create big results when used wisely. Section 4. Budget, bids, and daily strategy. Now that you know how to choose your keywords, let's talk about the part that tends to scare authors the most: money. The words budget and bids sound technical, but when you break them down, they're really just about managing how much you're comfortable spending and how to make each dollar work harder for you. Let's start with your daily budget. This is the maximum amount you're willing to spend per day on your ad campaign. If you set your daily budget to $10, that's the limit. You'll never be charged more than that in a single day. And here's something that surprises many authors: you often won't spend the full amount. Amazon only charges you when someone clicks on your ad. If you get fewer clicks, you'll spend less. So how much should you spend? The answer depends on your goals and your comfort level, but a simple rule is to start small. $5 to $10 per day is a safe, effective starting point. Think of this like testing a recipe. You wouldn't buy every ingredient in bulk before you knew how the dish tasted. The same goes for ads. Start with a small sample, see what works, and expand from there. Next, let's talk about bidding. A bid is how much you're willing to pay for a single click on your ad. Amazon works like an auction, but you're not competing against thousands of people directly, just the advertisers targeting the same readers at that moment. If your bid is higher than others, your ad gets the better spot. But don't worry, you don't always pay your full bid. You pay just enough to outbid the next advertiser. Here's an example. Let's say your maximum bid is 50 cents, and the next advertiser's bid is 40 cents. If your ad wins the placement, you'll only pay about 41 cents. It's automatic and it happens in real time. Bidding sounds competitive, but it's actually flexible. You can change your bid at any time. If an ad is performing well and you want to reach more readers, you can increase your bid slightly. If it's not performing, you can lower it. Small adjustments make a big difference over time. Now, how do you decide what to bid? For most books, a starting bid between 30 and 50 cents works well. That's enough to get impressions, meaning your ad is being shown without overspending. Some genres are more competitive, like romance and thriller, while others are less crowded, like poetry or niche nonfiction. You'll learn your category's comfort zone as you go. I often tell authors to treat their first few campaigns like a classroom, not a contest. The goal isn't to make a profit right away, it's to gather information. You're paying to learn which keywords convert and which ones don't. Once you find your winners, you can shift your budget toward them and gradually increase your bids to grow your reach. Let's talk about what happens when your bids are too low or too high. If your bid is too low, your ad might not show often, as you'll get very few impressions, which means not enough data to make decisions. If your bid is too high, you might get clicks, but at a cost that eats your profit. The sweet spot is where you're getting steady impressions and clicks at a cost that feels sustainable. A helpful trick is to imagine you're running a coffee shop. You don't need every customer in the city, just the ones who actually like your coffee. You don't shout at everyone passing by. You quietly attract people who already want what you serve. That's how Amazon ads work. You're paying for qualified attention, not random traffic. Another important part of budget strategy is patience. Many authors panic after a few days of low results and start changing everything. Bids, keywords, even budgets. That usually hurts more than it helps. Ads need time to stabilize. Give them at least a week to collect enough data. Amazon's algorithm is learning as it goes. If you make constant changes, it keeps resetting that learning process. Here's a story to make this clearer. A nonfiction author named Mia ran her first campaign at $10 a day with bids around 40 cents. For the first week, nothing seemed to happen. By week 2, she started getting clicks. By week 3, her first few sales appeared. She stuck with it, resisted the urge to panic, and by the end of the month, her ads were breaking even. A month later, they were profitable. She didn't spend more. She just gave the system time to learn. Let's also address something many authors wonder. How do you know when to raise or lower your bid? If a keyword is getting impressions and clicks but no sales, it might not be relevant enough. Try lowering your bid or replacing the keyword. If a keyword is generating sales and your ads are still within your comfort zone, you can raise that bid slightly to get more visibility. Over time, you'll start shifting your budget toward the terms that consistently perform well. Another piece of advice, don't judge your ad based on one day's numbers. Look for patterns over time. A single day can be unpredictable, but a week or a month shows real trends. And finally, always treat your ad budget as an investment in learning. Even if your first few campaigns don't make a profit, the knowledge you gain is worth far more. You're learning what your readers respond to, how they search, and what kind of presentation works best. That data stays with you for every future book you publish. So when you think about budget and bids, think less like a gambler and more like a gardener. You're planting small seeds, observing how they grow, and adjusting the sunlight and water until you find the perfect balance. That's how sustainable advertising works. Quietly, gradually, and intelligently. In the next section, we'll look at how to interpret your ad reports, what the numbers actually mean, how to tell if your ads are working, and how to make sense of metrics like impressions, clicks, and ACOS without feeling overwhelmed. Section 5. Reading your reports. Now that your ads are running and you've learned how to manage your budget, it's time to face the part that most authors either skip or fear: reading the reports. This is where all your data lives, and it's the key to turning guesswork into strategy. The good news is that you don't need to be a numbers expert to understand what your reports are telling you. In fact, once you learn what each column means, you'll start to see patterns that help you make smart, confident decisions. When you open your Amazon Ads dashboard, you'll see a few main metrics: impressions, clicks, click-through rate, spend, sales, and ACOS. Each one tells a small part of your ad story. Let's start with impressions. This number shows how many times your ad was displayed to readers. It doesn't mean they clicked, just that your ad appeared on their screen. Impressions tell you about visibility. If your ad has very few impressions, it's not being shown often enough. That usually means your bid is too low or your keywords are too narrow. If your impressions are high, but you're not getting clicks, it could mean your cover, title, or first line of your ad isn't attracting enough attention. Next is clicks. This is the number of people who actually clicked on your ad to see your book. Clicks are engagement. They tell you that your keywords are working and your ad is being seen by the right people. When readers click, it means your book caught their eye. But clicks alone don't guarantee success. What happens next matters even more. That's where click-through rate, or CTR, comes in. CTR is the percentage of people who saw your ad and decided to click it. It's calculated by dividing clicks by impressions. For example, if your ad was shown 1,000 times and 10 people clicked, your CTR is 1%. CTR is one of the most useful numbers you will ever watch. It shows whether your ad is catching interest. A higher CTR means your targeting and presentation are strong. A very low CTR, under 0.3%, might mean your ad isn't connecting with the right audience. Here's an easy analogy. Impressions are like people walking past your shop window. Clicks are the ones who stop to look. CTR is the percentage who actually came inside. Next, we have spend. This is the total amount you've paid so far for your ad clicks. It helps you see how much of your daily or monthly budget has been used. Don't panic if this number feels high at first. Remember, ads are an investment. What matters is how that spend relates to your sales. And that brings us to sales. This column shows the revenue your ads generated directly from clicks, but here's something important. Not every sale shows up right away. Amazon sometimes takes a day or two to attribute a purchase, and some readers click an ad, think about the book, and return later to buy it. So if your sales don't match your clicks perfectly in real time, that's normal. Finally, we have ACOS, which stands for Advertising Cost of Sales. It's the percentage of ad spend compared to revenue. For example, if you spent $10 on ads and made $20 in sales, your ACOS is 50%. The lower the ACOS, the more profitable your ad. But here's where most authors get stuck. They treat ACOS like a grade. They think a high ACOS means failure. That's not always true. In the early stages, when you're still testing and learning, your ACOS will almost always be high. That's because you're paying for discovery, collecting data that will help you make better decisions later. Once you identify your strongest keywords and most responsive audiences, your ACOS will naturally drop. Think of it like paying tuition. The first few weeks of your campaign are a learning phase. You're not just buying clicks, you're buying knowledge, and that knowledge will keep helping you for every book you publish afterward. Let's look at a real example. An author named Tom ran a campaign for his science fiction novel. His first month showed an ACOS of 120%, meaning he spent more than he earned. But instead of quitting, he studied his data. He noticed that 2 of his keywords had much better CTR and lower cost per click than the rest. He paused the poor performers and raised his bids slightly on the good ones. By month 2, his ACOS dropped to 65%. By month 3, he was profitable. The lesson is simple. Reports aren't there to judge you, they're there to guide you. Each number tells you what's working and what's not. Here's another helpful tip. Don't check your reports every hour. It's tempting, especially when you first launch an ad, but the data changes slowly. Look at it once or twice a week, take notes, and track patterns over time. Also, don't make big decisions based on a small sample. If your ad only has 50 clicks, the numbers don't mean much yet. Wait until you've gathered at least a few hundred clicks before adjusting bids or keywords. When you start to feel comfortable reading your reports, you'll notice how empowering it becomes. You'll stop guessing and start understanding. You'll know why one ad performs better than another, why certain keywords cost more, and why your book is appearing where it does. I often compare this part of the process to learning how to drive. At first, all the dials and mirrors seem confusing, but after a while, you glance at them naturally and know exactly what's happening. That's what reading your ad reports feels like after a few campaigns. Natural, even enjoyable. And the key takeaway is this. Your data is your map. It doesn't tell you what you did wrong. It tells you where to go next. In the next section, we'll talk about what to do when things don't go as planned. You'll learn how to spot common mistakes, how to fix underperforming ads, and how small tweaks can turn a struggling campaign into a winning one. Section 6, common mistakes and how to fix them. By now, you understand how to set up your campaigns, choose your keywords, manage your bids, and read your reports. You've learned how each part of the system fits together. But even with all that knowledge, every author makes mistakes with Amazon ads. It's part of the learning process. The key is not to avoid mistakes entirely, but to recognize them early and know how to fix them. Let's start with one of the most common ones, setting and forgetting. Many authors launch a campaign and never check it again. They assume the system will handle everything automatically. The problem is that ads are living things. They need small adjustments over time. Prices fluctuate, competition shifts, and reader behavior changes. When you ignore your campaigns, they either overspend or fade out quietly. The fix is simple. Consistency. Check your campaigns once or twice a week. You don't need to hover over them daily, just stay aware. If a campaign isn't performing, make one small change at a time. Adjust your bids, update your keywords, or pause the ads that aren't bringing results. Gradual changes lead to long-term growth. Another common mistake is using keywords that are too broad. This happens when authors target general terms like romance, thriller, or fantasy. These keywords are extremely competitive, and your book ends up buried among thousands of others. You'll spend money on clicks that don't convert because readers are searching for all kinds of variations within that broad term. The fix here is to focus on specific intent. Use longer, more descriptive keywords that match your exact audience. For example, if you write romantic suspense, target military romance thriller instead of just romance. If you write fantasy for young adults, try YA Dragon Fantasy Adventure. Specific phrases reach readers who are already looking for your kind of story. A third mistake is expecting instant results. Amazon ads rarely produce miracles overnight. The system needs time to collect data and understand your audience. Many authors get discouraged after a week of low sales and turn off their campaigns too early. That's like pulling up a seed to check if it's growing. The fix is patience. Give your ads at least 2 to 3 weeks before making big judgments. Use that time to watch trends, impressions, clicks, and CTR rather than sales alone. Often, the results build slowly and then compound over time. Another mistake is not testing enough variety. Some authors put all their hope into one ad or one keyword list. If it doesn't work, they think ads don't work. But ads are experiments. What fails for one book might work perfectly for another. And the fix is to test small, controlled variations. Try 2 campaigns, one with automatic targeting and one with manual. Run them for a week and compare results. You'll learn more from testing than from any tutorial. One of the most painful mistakes I see is sending traffic to a weak book page. Even the best ad can't save a listing that doesn't convert. If your cover looks unprofessional, your description is confusing, or your reviews are missing, readers might click your ad but leave without buying. That drives up your cost without giving you results. The fix here is preparation. Before you even run ads, look at your product page through a reader's eyes. Does the cover immediately communicate your genre? Is your description clear and engaging? Does your first sentence make someone want to scroll? If not, fix those things first. Ads work best when your foundation is solid. Let's talk about another issue, focusing on the wrong metrics. Many authors obsess over ACOS and forget that advertising serves more than one purpose. Some campaigns build profit, others build visibility, and both have value. If your ad isn't making immediate profit, but your organic sales are rising, that means your ads are improving your book's ranking and visibility. Amazon's algorithm rewards activity, and your paid ads can create organic sales that don't even appear in your ad reports. The fix is to look at the big picture. Track not just ad sales, but total book performance. If your daily sales are growing, even when your ACOS looks high, your ads are doing their job. Here's a story to illustrate that. A nonfiction author named Kevin ran an ad that technically lost money. His ACOS hovered around 80%, which made him nervous. But when he looked at his full dashboard, he noticed that his overall sales had tripled. Readers were discovering his other books and signing up for his email list. That one ad didn't make profit directly, but it built the momentum that carried his whole brand forward. Another common mistake is turning off ads too early. Sometimes authors see a dip and panic, thinking the ad failed, but the system might just be in a slow phase. Every campaign has ups and downs depending on traffic, holidays, and reader habits. The fix is to track trends over time. If a campaign performs poorly for a few days but picks up again the next week, it's still healthy. Look for steady patterns, not temporary dips. And finally, the last mistake, fear of advertising. Many writers avoid ads altogether because they worry about wasting money or doing it wrong. But avoiding ads means avoiding the learning that comes with them. Every successful author you see on the charts went through this same phase: testing, failing, adjusting, and trying again. The fix for fear is education and small steps. Start with one book, one campaign, and a $5 daily budget. Think of it as buying a cup of coffee for your book each day. A small gesture that gives it a chance to be seen. When you see your first few clicks, your first sale, or your first report that shows traction, something shifts. You realize that you're not at the mercy of luck. You're learning how to steer your visibility. Every mistake along the way becomes part of your skill set. You learn how readers think, how Amazon's system reacts, and how to use your budget wisely. Before long, you'll find yourself teaching others the very lessons you once struggled with. In the final section, we'll wrap everything up, the big takeaways, the mindset you need to succeed with Amazon ads, and a short actionable checklist you can use to start or improve your own campaigns. Action checklist. We've reached the end of today's episode, and I hope you're starting to see Amazon ads in a whole new light. They're not mysterious or unreachable. They're simply another tool, one that helps readers discover the stories you've worked so hard to share. At first, it might feel like a maze of data and numbers, but as you've seen, it all boils down to a few simple ideas: visibility, testing, and consistency. Those three words are the foundation of successful advertising. You've learned how ads fit into the bigger picture of publishing. They give your book a seat at the table, a chance to be noticed among millions of titles. You've learned that it's not about luck or guesswork. It's about alignment. When your keywords match your audience, when your budget feels balanced, and when your book page does its job, the system starts working with you, not against you. We talked about setting up your first campaign, step by step from naming your ad to launching it. We explored how to think like a reader when choosing keywords and how to make in small, smart adjustments to your bids and budgets. You learned how to read your reports and turn those numbers into stories that guide your next move. And most importantly, you saw that mistakes are not failures. They're signposts that point you in the right direction. Every author you admire once stood exactly where you are, unsure, cautious, maybe even intimidated by ads, but they learned by doing. They started small, paid attention, and grew from experience. That's how every successful campaign begins. Here's what I want you to remember. Ads are not about chasing sales. They're about creating visibility. Every click, every impression, every reader who sees your cover for the first time builds awareness. Sometimes that awareness turns into an immediate sale. Sometimes it turns into a reader remembering your name and buying a month later. Both are valuable. Think of your ad strategy as part of a long game. You're not just selling a single book, you're building your author presence. Each campaign teaches you something that carries over to the next. Each new title benefits from what you've already learned. Let's simplify everything into a mindset you can take with you. Start small, stay patient, and stay curious. Set your first campaign with confidence, give it time, and let the data speak. Don't rush to change things out of fear or impatience. Watch, learn, and adapt. That's how you turn small budgets into powerful marketing tools. One of my favorite things about Amazon ads is that they grow with you. You can start with $5 a day and scale up only when you're ready. You can test new genres, new keywords, and new designs without risk. It's flexible, forgiving, and always teaching you. I'll leave you with a quick story that captures this perfectly. A children's author I know ran her first ad and barely made a sale. She almost gave up, but instead she studied her report, changed a few keywords, and improved her book description. Within 2 months, her ads were bringing in steady sales, and she used that income to publish her next book. Today, she runs ads like second nature, calm, confident, and in control. That transformation started with one small experiment. Advertising is like writing. The first draft is never perfect, but each revision makes it stronger. Each campaign, each adjustment is a new draft of your marketing story. So, as you wrap up this episode, I encourage you to take that first step, log into your dashboard, set up a simple sponsored product ad, and just start. Don't overthink it. The best learning happens in motion. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Cosmo Publishing Podcast. I'm your host, Gürhan, and I hope today's conversation helped you see that Amazon ads aren't something to fear. They're something to master, one small campaign at a time. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the podcast, share it with another author, and leave a review to help us reach more independent writers like you. And remember, at Cosmo Publishing and Cosmodio Books, we're here to support you every step of the way, from formatting and design to ads, analytics, and full-scale book marketing. Until next time, keep creating, keep experimenting, and keep believing that your stories deserve to be seen.
Welcome to Cosmo Publishing. You just tuned yourself to the coolest place to learn all about self-publishing. We are a turnkey quality service provider, from interior formatting to custom covers and everything in between, including book marketing and advertising. It is the company that books a lot.